Um, what object will you like to discuss today?
So I'm going to be talking about my little Winnie the Pooh. Yeah.
Okay, and why did you choose this object?
It's something that I've been carrying with me for about 3.5, almost 4 years now.
Right, and can you tell me who gave you the object, or did you buy it yourself?
My wife and I, when we were still dating, we bought each other our favorite Disney characters. So she has Pluto, and I have Winnie the Pooh.
So, okay, you said that your wife gave it to you
Uh-huh.
for favorite Disney. So, when you were like given this object, what were your intentions for its use? Like, was it just to like always keep on you, or what were your intentions for it?
So the whole point of this was because I was leaving. It was more of a token to have on me, like, hey, it's like that little reminder of I'm still with you kind of thing, no matter where you go, no matter what you do.
And you said that you were leaving. Where were you leaving to?
I was on my way to basic.
All right, and so like when you went to like basic training and things like that, and you had this item, where did where did you keep it? Like,
um, I actually had to hide it
you
in
had to hide it.
a bunch of different things. Um, we weren't supposed to have anything in our pockets other than the items that we were issued or required to have on us. But I'd move it from pocket to pocket just to make sure I had it on me.
And so, with you being in basic and having this object of significance, um, you know, based around your relationship and things like that, how did it make you feel during that time?
Mm, so during basic, it wasn't too bad. Like, of course, I missed her during that time, but it wasn't until I went on to the TACP Schoolhouse, the Tactical Air Control Party career field. Um, it was it was a reminder more than anything else. Like, no matter how bad things got, it was always there with me. So, uh, just a little background on like TACPs and everything. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how it's one of the only like Air Force entities that runs with the Army all day, every day kind of thing. Um, so we would be out on rucks. We'd be out on like just getting our stuff pushed in um, on a consistent basis. So with all the bad that was going on, it was always a reminder of how good things were outside of that training. So it's kind of what kept me sane. It's kind of what kept me intact, in touch with reality.
Now, I know like when you're in basic, you have to like do so much. There's like rucking and like running and like training mentally, physically, and all of that type of stuff. So I know that you just stated like having it gave you like a peace of mind, basically. So, and with all the physical things that you were doing, I'm wondering like if it would have like just say randomly like fell out of your pocket, you know, one day like during training, like how would that have changed like how you felt like during that time, or how would you have felt if you lost that object?
Probably would have lost it a little bit. Like I was saying, it kept me sane
Right.
because I know you're very familiar with how hard it is to stay in contact with your loved ones
Yes.
when you're away from them.
Yeah.
You have a lot of time to think.
Right.
So losing that would have actually caused a little more of a problem that I care to admit. Like it's a little stuffed animal, like you know,
Yeah.
25-year-old going through basic training with a stuffed animal in your pocket, like it's kind of weird.
But
but
so
yeah, but it just, like I was saying, it kept me on the right track. So yeah.
So going back, I know that earlier you stated, of course, the object is Winnie the Pooh, and it was like it's one of your favorite Disney characters. How did that come about? Like, what's your connection with that?
So we bought each other's favorite, if that
Right.
makes sense. So her favorite character is Winnie the Pooh, so she bought me Winnie the Pooh. My character has always been Pluto, so I bought.
Okay.
Yeah, so I bought her a Pluto, like the same.
Okay, so you guys switched, like
Yeah,
your Pluto and
was
hers,
with her. Yeah,
and you have her. Okay.
yeah. So that's
So
just her. That's always been her favorite. Like growing up and everything. Like she's always been attached to like the original Winnie the Pooh stories.
right.
And I've had a Pluto since I want to say like 4 or 5.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's always just been something like I'm not crazy about them. Like I don't have them posted everywhere. I'm not like but for Disney characters, yeah, he's probably my favorite.
So, since you guys like switched, like objects basically, with yours being Pluto, well, your favorite Disney character being Pluto, and then hers being Winnie the Pooh. How do you feel like that? Did you connect, or how do you feel like you connected with her object and things like that?
So she's always been more of a Disney fan than I was.
Okay.
Like Disney's her thing. Like as a child, she lived in Florida. She wasn't too far away from Orlando, so she went to Disney pretty much at least twice a year. It's been her life. Like that's who she is. She knows like the original stories behind like all of the Disney princesses, and, like, the original ones and all that. And so that has been her thing. It's the same for how I've been with Pokemon my entire life. Yeah, so like for me, I've loved Pokemon since it was released in like the early 2000s because I was actually living in Japan at the time.
Okay.
Or the late 90s, sorry, like it was like 94, 95 when they started releasing it, and that was always my thing. So even though I bought her that Pluto, I also gave her like a little Charizard. It's like this big. It's like a little plastic Charizard because my favorite Pokemon was Charmander. I actually have a tattoo of him on my leg. Yeah, so
it's strong. The feeling is strong there.
Oh, it's definitely like the amount of shit that I caught while I was at the schoolhouse, like after basic, like when you went over to the schoolhouse for training, like the extra training and all that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they lit my ass up for it.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is that on your leg? What the hell? I like Charmander, dude. Fuck.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but so like I gave her that Charizard, and it went everywhere with her. Like she knew how much, like Pluto she always had like in her purse, but like Charizard went everywhere. So it was probably the most direct connection we had at the time, because she was in the process. So she lived in Hawaii for a bit, and then she moved after I had left for BMT or for basic. And then so she moved in with her dad and everything. And during her travels, because she had like just a whole complicated story. She left, and then she had to get her car shipped, and so she had to drive from Vegas to Los Angeles to go pick up her car. And Charizard was with her the entire time, and just everything. Everything that she did, she had that little toy on her. Actually, no, I think she still has it.
Okay.
Cool. But yeah, it's like this Winnie the Pooh. Even though we live together again, even though I see her every day and whatnot, like this is still in the same pocket that it's always been.
So I know, like, both of you guys' objects connect you. It was basically her object was there when you weren't there, and vice versa. So, like, what are you assuming that you guys like have marriage rings or tattooed? Or do you guys have marriage rings or tattooed?
Yeah. We have rings, like just because of because of what I was trained to do before. We weren't allowed to have metal rings.
Okay.
You could have a ring, but you can have a metal ring.
Okay.
So we both got silicone rings.
Okay.
But now, like, because I washed out of that schoolhouse or out of that course, I got reclassed into a different job.
Okay.
And in this job currently, I'm not allowed to wear anything when I'm working. So, like I always have it on me. It goes on my watch. I don't know where I put my watch. But yeah, so I take my ring off and I put it on my watch. So I always have it on me. But at the time because it was just it made the most sense.
Okay.
Like when we got married, I was in that course, so it's like, hey, like I don't mind having the ring on me. It's just if it's
Right.
metal, I can't wear it. And she's like, all right. So we just decided to go ahead and stick with the silicone ring.
And so, now that I know, you guys have rings, like, which one do you feel connects to you more, the ring or the object? Like the ring or you guys? Tough one.
They're significant in their own ways.
Okay.
Like I don't feel as strongly for one more than the other.
Okay.
I've had poo longer.
Okay.
But it's one of those, like, yeah, this is like our bond and everything, but rings are fairly significant. Because so we have, like, of course, like any married couple, you guys have like your favorite song or a song that reminds you of whatever it was that was going on in your relationship at the time. So on the inside of our rings, we actually have the name of the song engraved engraved in on the inside. So
Oh wow. Okay.
it how do I put this? They have their own significance, if that makes sense. Like Winnie the Pooh got us through more of the times that we were separated.
Okay. Yeah.
And the rings were life beyond that, basically, because we weren't married when I left.
Okay.
So this was like the beginning of our long distance relationship because at the time we were only together for about a year.
Okay.
And then when we got those rings, we had already been together for about 2.5.
Okay.
Yeah, so just like I said, one isn't more important than the other, but they are significant in their own ways.
So I know that you stated like earlier that you got Pokemon tattooed like on your leg.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess my question would be why? Not why.
Why?
Why would you? No, no. But how significant do you think it would make your wife feel if you got her favorite like Disney character on you?
That's actually been a plan for a little while.
Oh yeah.
She has quite a bit of tattoos.
Okay.
Like, as do I. Like the difference is that her tattoos are more visible.
Okay.
Like she has like a half sleeve, and then like her other like one is like it goes down to like on the inside of her arm goes all the way up. But like with my tattoos, it goes from like here
Yeah.
to like here.
Okay.
and like all the way like down here. So like it's positioned perfectly to wear a t-shirt and not be able to tell.
Yeah. Because
So
like
like people
in the military,
like
right? Too.
yeah.
At that. Okay.
So cool thing about the Air Force though, they actually retracted that whole like 25% rule. Now you can have full sleeves.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's something new that I didn't even know about.
Yeah. So like you still of course can't get tattoos on your face and neck and your hands,
Okay.
but you can get an entire body suit done. I was like, what? So that's kind of cool. But shit, what was the question? Sorry.
How do you think? How do you think your wife would feel if you had got her favorite Disney character, the Winnie the Pooh, like tattoo?
So we've looked into it.
Okay.
Because, like I said, we both have quite a bit of tattoos.
Right.
So instead of getting Winnie the Pooh itself, I was leaning more towards getting the little bumblebees.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was gonna get that bumblebee incorporated into a tattoo.
Oh, that would be.
Yeah. But, like I've never suggested her getting a tattoo of Charmander because I have one and that'd be kind of weird. But like, if she's like, "Yeah, I want to get one for you," I'm like, "All right, whatever, man. That's up to you." Like, I'm not gonna tell you what tattoos to get, not yet. Like, as long as you're not getting one like center of your forehead, I'm good.
Yeah.
But like I said, she can do basically whatever she wants. Like, I don't mind. If you want to get a Charmander tattoo, cool. I'm not pushing for it. I don't really like Charmander. Doesn't mean as much to you as he does to me, kind of thing. Like, there's a reason why I got him
On you.
on not just on me, but there's a reason why I got him like on my upper thigh that no one else can really see. Like, the only reason why people saw it while I was going through the schoolhouse was because we wore Sophies during PT.
Okay.
So yeah, so everyone could see everything. But there's a reason why he's on my thigh and not on my arm. Because it's a tattoo that was for me.
You.
More than anyone else. But yeah, like I said, I am actually in the process. Like the ideas that I've come up with, and like I've talked to with certain artists. I'm like, hey, this is what I want. Da, 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 da. Like, this is the design that I want. And I would want to incorporate this little bee because, yeah. So it's for her and also our daughter.
Okay.
Because actually, let me see if I have a picture of it. Because she actually has a sign for her baby shower. It was all Winnie the Pooh themed. Like, her room right now, like, bees have always been a thing in her life, like, weirdly enough.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm sure you can kind of see it. Yeah, like, shit. Kind of, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a nice cake. That's
Yeah.
cute. Yeah.
It's a diaper cake.
A diaper cake. Like
Yeah.
baby shower.
Yeah. So, like, we've been pretty consistent with, like, oh, this was her invitation. Like,
Oh, this, yeah.
the very classic Winnie the Pooh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
or when you
Bees have always kind of played a role in her life, like weirdly enough.
got it.
So the tattoo of a bee would not only be for my wife but for my daughter as well.
Gotcha. So I just have like a couple more questions. So, what makes you like that Pokemon character so much? Like, who is your Pokemon character?
Charmander.
Yeah.
So growing up, it was just me and my brother. We didn't have any other siblings, so they had a red and a blue version.
Okay.
He picked blue version, and I picked red because I thought the dragon was cooler than a fucking turtle. And like we played that game since it was released in like '97, I want to say, and that's just like it's my connection to my childhood, basically.
Gotcha.
He's not into like Squirtle and everything as much as I am, just because he was a little older. But yeah, Charmander is just everything about my childhood links back to that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Just one more question. So, if you guys like, meaning like you and your wife, didn't have like the objects that you guys switch for each other, like, how do you feel like your relationship would have been without that?
So these objects are more a physical representation than anything else. She and I are both interested in music, so we listen to music on a regular basis. Like, I don't know if you can hear the music playing right now, but music has played a significant role in our relationship, in our daughter's development. Like when she was still pregnant with our daughter, like we play music all the time. And when she was born, we had music playing when she was born, and she can't sit in a car ride unless music is playing. Like it's just everything about it. It's played a significant role. So, like I was saying, we have these guys, we have our little tokens, but our relationship all goes back to the music.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Those are my questions. Those are the questions that I had for you.
Oh boy. I like hit that wall of like it being 11 o'clock. Like,
Oh yeah, it's late over
yeah, and White's only what, like 7, right?
there. Yeah, like yeah, it's 7:18.
Why are you still at school? I don't get that.
Like I went to my internship, and
Yeah.
like it's literally like not that far from here. Like it's not like 25 exit 25B. So literally, I just came back to campus instead of like going all the way to Fort Shafter to like try to do the interview. So I was like, I'm just like right here at campus. So.
Yeah. You might as well too, especially with it being a Friday on.
Yeah.
Like during summer semester, no one's at school.
I know, it's just school is just. I'm so ready to like get off of this. I feel like I live here.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
I'm very familiar with living in your car while you're there.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Like I don't know how many times like between classes I just go back to my car and sleep.
Yeah, see, and I had a pass like last year, but now I'm just like parking off campus and stuff. But I think I'm gonna get a pass the coming up semester because parking off campus like it can be a headache. But yeah.
Like I kind of got away with using other people's passes for a while, and I used my expired one for a while until they're like, "Hey, you can't park here." I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, they will hunt you down. Okay.
So now like I park up in that neighborhood, like right across. Like I used to park up next to that neighborhood next to the business building.
Yeah, I know what you're talking. Oh yeah, it's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking. I
actually walk over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. Oh, okay. So, apologies in advance. I don't like writing, like physically writing. Gotten too used to typing things.
Yeah.
So, if you hear the clicking and it's annoying, let me know. Yeah. So, yeah. Cool. Let's see. What object do you have?
I'm actually going to be using my wallet. It's my life. I have all of these things.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
So it's not just your wallet. It's your life. Basically.
Yeah, it's my whole life. Like everything. My credit cards. Like, oh my God, look at this is insane. Yeah.
Okay. So, with the wallet specifically, where did you get it?
I got this wallet. I believe it was at a retail store. Can't remember if it was like Forever 21 or some other store, but it may have been. I think it was Charlotte Russe. I think it was Charlotte Russe. They had a sale, so I was like, yeah, I need a wallet. And got it. Yeah.
Okay. So, you saying that it was on sale and that you needed a wallet, like what were you doing before getting that wallet? Like,
before I was just kind of like all over the place a little bit, but I would keep like my credit cards and like all of that kind of stuff like in my purse. Like I had a purse, but normally like I would carry around like big purses, so I kind of want to like minimize like some of the things and not have to always worry about grabbing my big ass purse. And so I'm like, yeah, I need a wallet.
Okay. So it was really more of a consolidation tool than anything else.
Exactly.
All right. Cool. I also noticed that you not only have like your typical stuff that you have in a wallet, like keys and cards and money and pictures and whatever else you keep in your wallet. You also have your keys attached to it.
What's attached to it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have keys. Like, I have my car key. I have my house key. I have, like, these little souvenirs. Like, my sister actually, where did she go? She went to, I believe she went to Australia for like this business trip. Like, she's in the military, so she had to go there for like a big meeting, and so she brought back some souvenirs. So I put that on there, and like this Be More Than Pink, I Am Home is actually like a breast cancer awareness that I've been doing like the past summer.
Okay.
With my internship, so I've been helping out with that. So that kind of like signifies like some good things that I've done like this summer.
Yeah.
And this is just like a Party City discount, so I don't lose it. Yeah, that's just like.
At any time you need a party, you have the card.
I know, and I need to go there. And this is crazy because this is like Tweety Bird. And, I like Tweety Bird, but I feel like my niece liked Tweety Bird more. But my other niece, she actually bought this for me, and I think she was trying to be funny because he actually looks angry here, and they're always like, you always look so mean and angry, and so she bought it for me. So I think she was trying to be funny, but yeah.
Nice.
That's that.
Awesome. So that's actually kind of cool. You basically have your family on keychains.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Well, that's a really good way to keep them close. You mentioned that your sister went to Australia for like a big conference or something. Growing up, like, were you and your sister close? And like, how did that play a role in like her eventually going to Australia? I know that's a really big jump going from like childhood to Australia, but like you had mentioned before that you were in the Army.
Yeah.
Like how did that like branch off into her going her way and you going into the Army?
So, well, my sister is like way older than me, so she's like probably like 15 years older than me, literally. And she was so she's almost actually about to retire, so she has one more year. She retires in. And so we have always been close. Always have had like a close relationship. Like every summer, I would go with her and stay with her. Especially with her being in the military. You know, in the military, you get to travel a lot. So I got to go and branch out and see things that I've never seen before. And so we are fairly close. And I'm actually staying here with her. She actually was here and had to leave to go and greet some people there and talk to them about situations here that were going on and things like that. And when she went there, she was able to have like a day to just travel. And anytime this was like her second time not going to Australia. She went to somewhere else. I forget where she went, but every time she goes somewhere, she always brings us back like a souvenir or something like that. So, but yeah, we're fairly close, and she's kind of like a little bit of the reason why I went into the military, not completely. I mainly went for school benefits, and so that they wouldn't have to, my mom and her wouldn't have to worry about struggling to pay for my school. And because I've always been like an independent type of person, and I've always wanted to go out and do things myself. But yeah, we're fairly close, and yeah.
Awesome. So I'm assuming those nieces that got you that Tweety bird are her daughters?
Yeah. So I have like a lot of nieces. I have like a total of like 8 nieces, 8, 9. But yes, the niece that actually got me this, that's her daughter.
Okay. And because you said you were staying with him and everything, for me, like my daughter, she's the first niece or nephew that between me and my brother, like she's the first child between us.
Oh wow.
And so I'm pretty sure you're familiar with being firstborn and whatnot.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Like indirectly,
Yeah.
but so it's a big thing in Hawaii to be close to your cousins, your nieces, nephews, and everything like that. How do you feel your lifestyle has affected them? So that's like considering your career in the Army and you being in school now and you living with them now, like how do you feel that affected your relationship with them? Like
with like my family.
Yeah, with your nieces specifically.
Oh, with my nieces. So like when growing up, like I actually like my mom was like she had got into like a bad car accident. So like ever since then, like a car actually like a lady fell asleep in the road like driving and actually smashed her in the car. So so ever since then, like her back, like it was really bad. They had to cut her out of the car, and like ever since then, she was unable to, work and stuff. And so, of course, she would get her disability. And my sister saw that my mom was kind of like, in the struggle and like wanted to help. And I was the youngest, and my mom also raised another one of my nieces, not my sister's kid, but my other sister's kid, and we kind of grew up like sisters. And so eventually, like, I moved in with my sister, me and my niece. And so she started taking care of us and things like that. So I actually got close with my other nieces too. So it was kind of like we all became kind of like sisters in a sense. So, but yeah, so my other niece that I actually was raised with, she's older than me. So she went off to college and I was still there at home, and my mom had came and moved in with us, and I decided I had told them that I wanted to go to the Army, and which my mom was like, well, you say you never go, and I was like, well, I kind of don't want you guys to worry about paying for school.
Yeah.
And I really want to just, do it and get out of the way. And my sister was like, no, don't worry about that. Like, because my sister's just that type of person. Like, she will give her last. And I kind of didn't want that. And so that kind of changed. That didn't really change they looked at me like, okay, well, you can do this, like, you do it. They always encouraged me. But when I left and then I came back here, my nieces, like, they were ready for me to come. They were excited, and stuff like that. They were ready for me to be here. And so it changed a little bit because I didn't speak to them as much. Being away, of course, basic AIT and then going to my duty station. And I had the time to like speak to them every now and again, but yeah, it was a lot going on there too. So I had to deal with things like that. But I actually didn't want to come here. But my sister was like, no, you need to come here. You need to get, away from the mainland for a while and just, kind of like start over a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it changed a little bit, but not really. It was just the distance, I guess.
Okay. So, like, because of the distance, things weren't as normal as they were before.
Right. I wasn't there physically, so I wasn't talking,
Yeah.
at them. So
That was completely understandable.
yeah.
So, you've actually brought up the topic of school and not paying for it and wanting to do it on your own
Yeah.
twice now. So, with like under my understanding and my assumption of the situation, school is extremely important.
Yes.
What, I guess, what brought you to what you're studying currently? Because you said before that you were a like a design major, was it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how do you how do you go from being in the army to wanting to be a design major?
So crazy thing is, before I even joined the military, I knew that I wanted to be in design.
Okay.
And that was the whole reason why I kind of wanted to go, because I know design and stuff, like it costs a lot of money to be in school, but it costs a lot to make clothes and be in school and do those things too. So I kind of had already known that I wanted to go into the fashion industry. And,
Okay.
But yeah.
It's an extremely simple question, but why? Like, why fashion? Why design? Why the army, for that matter?
Those are some questions.
Sorry, you could have picked like any other branch.
Right. I could have. And, I'm glad you asked me that. We're gonna answer that first, okay? So, Army actually wasn't my first choice. My first choice was actually to go to the Air Force. And so when I went, I was like, well, everybody kind of like was like, well, Air Force is going to take a while for you to get in, and you're not going to get in like right after school. It's probably going to be like 6 months. Like I was like, it was just a mess. Like everybody just had their own little opinions, Me, I was like, well, I like the Air Force, but my sisters, okay, well, maybe I should go into, the Army. My sister's been in the Army. My dad was in the Army. My uncles were in the Army. So everybody was just in the Army on my side. So I was just like, oh, okay, well, maybe I should. But that wasn't my choice at all. Like in the beginning, I really wanted to go to the Air Force. I felt like in the Air Force, anyways, that they treat you better and things like that, because with like the Army, I should have really had the patience to just sit and wait on that, because it would have been worth it. And plus, I was going right after I graduated high school anyway, so I could have still had time to just wait and like a semester in college or something, just waiting or something like that. But Air Force was definitely my first choice. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, trust me.
Army, oh god, I don't know. Oh my god.
Actually, I have a buddy right now. He's been a friend since like we were in 6th grade.
Yeah.
And so we've been friends for about 15 years now ish. A little more than that.
That's a long time.
It's been a while, and so he commissioned into the Army. Him and his wife did.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I was like, "How's that going for you, Dad?" And he was like, "Ugh."
Yeah.
he was he was a Cab Scout for a while, and then like I don't know what happened with him and his relationship or whatever, and somehow he ended up in logistics. I was like, I don't know what you did, Doug, but all right.
Logistics. Oh my god.
Yeah, so he went from being Cab Scout, getting through Ranger School,
To being.
never being recycled ever, like one shot through, and he got back to. He's actually in Hawaii right now.
Oh wow.
He's stationed over at Schofield. Uh,
Oh,
so so he got back after Ranger School, and yeah, for some reason, instead of becoming a Ranger, like he was actually going to go for his scroll, like he was actually trying to get into being a Ranger. Um, yeah, he somehow ended up as doing logistics because his wife was, what? You crazy, dog? Like, why would you put yourself through that hell just to? You're gonna be the only fucking logistics troop with a fucking Ranger tab. Like, get out of here.
yeah,
Yeah,
and it takes some hard work to go through Ranger school and stuff like that. And yeah, that's
and then just throw it all away. Mm-hmm. Like every single time I talk to him about it, it like kind of pisses me off. I'm like, what are you doing with that? What are you doing with it?
oh my god, what are you doing, guy? What are you doing?
Like you're insane. But so the Army and school benefits and you wanting to be a design major and all that. Hmm. Like I have two questions really. In that one, like I'm interested in as to what you did in the Army,
Okay.
but at the same time, it's like I know you said before going into the Army you wanted to be a design major.
Mm-hmm.
How did you being in the Army and you doing the job that you were given, how did that affect your decision on being a designer? Because apparently it didn't affect it at all because you're a design major right now.
Yeah.
Um, but what types of challenges did you face when you were in the Army? Like for me, I had to wait until I was done with all of the academic side of the Air Force.
Yeah. Exactly.
So like for us, you go through basic and then you go through your tech school, which is like your academic training
Right.
for whatever job you're supposed to go into. And then
Yeah.
when you get to your job, you have to take depending on what your job is. For me, I had to study like two sets of like CDCs. It's a career development course.
Okay.
So it's like a binder like this thing, like two of them. So like we had to study those two binders, and then like you study one, you take a test, you study the second one, you take a test, and then you go from being a 3 level, which is like your entry level worker, to like your 5 level, which is like, okay, this guy kind of knows what he's doing now. We can kind of trust him with a little more stuff, whatever. So like for you, I know that the Army is a little different
Yeah.
when it comes to schooling and
Yeah.
work. How how did you being in the Army affect you trying to pursue a degree?
How did it affect? So, it's kind of like the same with Air Force, just a little different. So, of course, you go through basic, and then we call it AIT, which is Advanced Initial Training. So it's basically like your academics, your learning. So for me, I had to take tests like weekly. I had like a weekly test over the material that we had learned throughout the week. I was what they call like a 42 alpha, so I was a human resource specialist. So I did like the paperwork for soldiers coming in and processing, and if they were getting married, if they had financial issues and things like that. Like I would be like the go-to person that they come to.
Yeah.
So I could help fix their financial situation or get that fixed. So I was basically doing actions in the military, and so how it affected me was like after I had to wait until I was in the army like a full year in order to like be considered to go to school, and so or get the benefits. So after that was the only like downfall that I had to wait. So I was kind of like a year behind like people that I graduated with as far as like being in college and stuff. But when it did come, like I did like take like 2 online classes. Like as soon as like they were like, okay, well you've been in a year now, you can go to school. As soon as I saw that, like I literally started signing up for classes. Like that was my thing, like right there. Like that's the whole reason why I came here. And so if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. So yeah.
So okay. You began school like as soon as you were eligible?
Yeah, as soon as I was eligible, I started right away.
Yeah, like so, like I was saying, like for us, it's the same concept. Not necessarily a year, but you have to be out of that like initial training course, basically, like your OJT and everything.
Okay.
Okay. Shit.
Yeah, Army, they don't play. Like they want a full year of your time before they give you any of their benefits. So it has to be exactly a full year too. So
yeah. Like so with that, like even though you had like college credit, like you couldn't start it beforehand, like on your own.
Well, I didn't have college credit until like I started in the military.
Okay.
So I didn't go because like as soon as I graduated high school or whatever, probably like October. Well, not as soon. I graduated in May, so in October I shifted out to basic, and that's when, that's when that was my year mark. So a year after that, after I did basic, and of course AIT was like 2.5 to 3 months for me. My initial training. So after that, then I was, but yeah, it always hits like the minute that you start your basic training for us.
Okay.
So, but no, I didn't have any military credits until I started taking classes online in the Army. But I did have some credits, but it was like the military college credits where I had to go and take like these classes for my job in the military. So that did count as college.
Yeah.
But
like you have like your prereqs and everything. Like it goes towards like for you guys. Do you guys take CLEPs?
Yes, they're not like required. People aren't required. I think it's just when you reach like a certain level or a certain rank, say, that's when you take it. I didn't take it, but yeah. But I think the only thing that I did take pertaining to the military too. I mean, outside of the military college credits were like the they were like military courses where like the advanced training online where you had to take those courses in order to even like before you get like your E5 basically, like before you even promotable for that, you have to take those classes. So I was like knocking them out like back to back to back to back. So I was trying to, you know, rank up to like after a while because I kind of started to like it, but at the same time I was just like, yeah, once my time is up,
you came here for a reason.
Yes, I'm here. But I have been like thinking about Air Force too, though. I have been.
Hey man, it ain't too late.
But I want to be done with college before, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, trust me. This is it's a ridiculous life to be living.
Yeah. I can see you're tired, like.
And the best part is that, like, the best part is like it's nothing that can't be handled. It's just you come back from a deployment, jumping into 4 classes during the spring semester.
Yeah,
and then you also have to deal with work, going back to work, and then you have to deal with your family, and you have to deal with everything else in life. And you're just like, I just want to like go to sleep for a week. Just hold off.
Yes.
Like, I'll come back to work, but just leave me alone, man.
Yeah, I would definitely love to go to sleep for a week.
Okay. So, kind of shifting gears on the whole military aspect. Like, I could talk about that for the next like hour. Like it's, but with like your object, specifically your wallet, you had mentioned previously that it was more of a consolidation thing. What? Wait, I've never had anything relatable to a purse, so I wouldn't know how convenient it was to have a purse. But how different were things when you switched over from just shoving everything into your purse to having a designated slot for things like your keys and your cards and cash and all that? Like, what type of difference did that make?
I just felt less cluttered. When I'm ready to like just grab something and go, like I just grab it. And of course, like being in college, like I just want to be able to like I still carry my purse, but I want to be able to like know that if I leave my purse, then it's fine. I can just grab my wallet, I can grab my backpack, and I can go. You know, so it kind of gives me that sense of security that I can keep things in this solid little wallet, but yeah, just a sense of like being less cluttered.
Okay. Yeah. So like with the less clutter and all that, like it being convenient at that point, like with having everything accessible.
Yeah.
Were there any other solutions to what you had? Like, why the wallet specifically, as opposed to like say like a smaller purse?
Yeah.
Or, you know, like something more adaptable. Like you can fit a book in a purse, but
yeah,
you get where I'm going with that question.
yeah.
Why? Yeah, why the wallet?
So I felt like with this wallet, I'm able to like kind of like have like a mini just like purse because I can put it like on my wrist and like it just gives me that sense of like, okay, I can grab something and I can go. And like with like a mini little purse, I feel like with me, I just throw things in my purse. And I love purses, but I love to keep them clean too. So I feel like with this wallet, I can keep up with it too. Like, even though it's smaller than the purse, like I've kept up with this for like almost 2 years now, which is weird because I normally lose things like crazy. So, but yeah, I just like that it's smaller, and then I can just put, and it gives me like discipline too. Like when I tell myself like you don't need all of that crap. Like you don't have to take all of that crap with you. You can take a little something. You're going here, and you're coming right back. So.
Okay. Okay. So loud. Slamming doors and shit. What is that? Midnight? Why are you slamming doors? You guys sleeping down and shit. So, you talked about your breast cancer awareness like tab you have.
Yeah.
What drove you to be a part of that organization? Like, because you were saying that you were volunteering for it, like raising awareness and all that this summer or last summer, sorry.
Yeah, no, this summer, you're right.
Is it this summer? Okay. So what was a driving cause for that?
So this actually started off as my internship, so which it still is. It's a part of my internship, and about event planning. And this is something that I really honestly didn't plan on doing. It was kind of just threw at me, and so my job was to like get volunteers, email volunteers, things like that for this event. And I've also like my dad had cancer and things like that, so I really feel like it kind of resonated with me. Like, of course, not just breast cancer, but cancer in general. Because I feel like all cancer needs to be cured. So, but when this opportunity came, I kind of was all for it a little bit, kind of because I've never like spoken out like towards it or anything, or really just sat and like looked it up because I felt so strongly about it just because that's like how like my dad passed away and things like that. So I kind of just wanted to like not think about it. Like, okay, I know cancer is important, and it's kind of weird because sometimes like when people like someone in someone else's family has cancer, like they immediately go after it. They want to find out what, like, how to cure it, like how they can be a part of it. And for me, it was just like I wanted to figure out a way like that I didn't have to think about that's what like killed my dad. You know what I mean? So I think that it's kind of weird that it kind of played out for me like that. But now that I actually did my internship, well, I'm doing my internship, and this kind of like hit me in the face or whatever, and I was like, okay, well, maybe now is the time to like, you know, actually do something, be a part of like this, since it is like it does hit like super close to home for me. So
Yeah.
like, but yeah,
Like it's now acting as a means of closure for you, basically.
right. So
Yeah.
it's kind of now, like when I was younger, I'd be sad about it, but now it's kind of like a sense of like empowerment. Like
Mhm.
it's kind of like great to. It kind of feels good to like, you know, do it now.
Talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like really.
Like I don't know if you've been keeping up with like developments in like medical health and all that.
Yeah.
How they released that study that they've had a drug
Mhm.
that helps not necessarily eliminate cancer, but helps mitigate it. Like it lessens the effects of cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that was recently. I want to say like within the past like month
Yeah.
that has come about. Okay.
Finding some things like my intern
Yeah.
told me a little bit about that too. So yeah.
Okay. That's good. Yeah, like for me, my one of my aunts, like, well, not necessarily my aunt, but my mom's auntie from like her sister's side had breast cancer, and like I was never directly affected by it. Like it was more like, oh, how did she pass away? Like you know, like you
Right.
don't see it on like a normal basis.
Right.
You don't live with the individual. You don't see them. You don't really talk to them. Like they're
Right.
family, but they're
Exactly, they're distant family.
exactly. So like trying to gain an understanding of like cancer and like the effects of it and how it plays a role in a family's dynamic at that point.
Right.
Which would lead me into like my next question, in that you said that your father passed away from cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So like how did that play a role with like your sisters and your mother? Because you're saying, like you said earlier, your mom was in that car accident, and then your dad passed away from cancer. Like how did that affect your life choices? How did that affect like your sister's life choices? Like where did these events start to distinguish the difference between, okay, I'm gonna stop like just kind of existing and start working towards making changes, start working towards like where how did these, even though they were negative events in your life,
Yeah.
how did these things motivate you and your sisters?
So, like a lot of these events occurred when I was like very young. Like I was 4 years old when my dad passed.
Okay.
Like I just turned 4. Like a month later, he passed, and then and when my mom got in that wreck, I was like 5, getting ready to turn 5. So everything was kind of like happening right
Yeah.
each other. So I kind of was like afraid, like I just didn't want anything else to happen, you know. So I was kind of like protective, like I had gotten like more close to like my mom, like because I felt like I didn't want her to go away, like I just knew what just happened to my dad, like all kind of stuff. So like just seeing that at a young age molded me, like it kind of made me want to be something greater, so that I could take care of my mom, because I saw her like work really hard when she was able to work to take care of me and my niece. And so that kind of made me want to work even 10 times harder so she could stop working. Like literally, if like when I was 5, I really wanted to go get a job. Like I wanted to go do something so I could like help her, and so she could stop working. This is just like as a kid, like you think you could do whatever whenever you're like so free spirited, and so but that kind of like stayed with me, and I think that's what actually connects me and my sister and makes us closer because she actually feels the same way. So she feels like, okay, I have to, and she does it like she takes care of my mom, you know. We both do, but yeah, she just that's why I feel like me and her like are kind of a little bit more closer than our other siblings because me and her have like the same idea, the same concept that we have to take care of my mom. That's it. That's all we care about, and we'll worry about other things later. So yeah, that's kind of what makes us a little closer.
Okay. Cool. Oh, shit. Wow. Like I try to keep going back to the wallet, but it keeps going like further and further like down. Like sensitive topics where I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's.
But that's what.
Interesting, yeah.
That's what happens, like when you do like a good interview, like thing, and then it starts to, you know,
you unfold and you get to know a person a lot more. That's it's interesting to see where people come from.
Yeah, it is.
And that's like the big driving factor for me is that like you clearly aren't just out to exist in the world. Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Like you want more. You want to provide for your family. And with that, like say you do become, like hypothetically speaking, you become like a major designer, or like you complete this degree and you find your way into some like design firm. Like I have a friend who actually she's a typographer, and that's all she does. She goes to conventions and she writes all day every day. And I was like, that's awesome. Like growing up in, like I knew her in middle school and high school, and that's all she did. She would draw on people's yearbooks. She would make people posters and everything. I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like what, like aside from the providing for your family aspect, what do you plan to achieve with design? Like where is that career going, like for you? Like what direction were you trying to go with that?
So in the beginning I wanted to be a designer, and that's what I focused on. I wanted to focus on designing clothes, designing basically for people that couldn't afford, you know, or couldn't afford to go out and buy things. I wanted to give back because I know that feeling. So that was kind of like how I started off with that. And then later on, like when I started coming to college, I was like, well, you know, I kind of like the retail part of it. Like I like the business side because I can style people, I can do visuals, I can create. I mean, you can still create your own business being a designer, but I can travel. I can be a buyer if I wanted to. I don't have to just stick in this design mode, you know. I can go out, I can buy clothes, and then I can have my own shop. Like, and I kind of started resonating like with the business side of it. So like as like right now I'm still with the business side, but I will eventually want to like have like maybe me and another designer design like some clothes together. You know what I mean? So I can get like a edit and things like that. So, but yeah, that's kind of where I am right now with that. Just being able to be a stylist and visual merchandiser and like a buyer. I will eventually want to be a buyer, and I think that's what I'm gonna do. Like style and become a buyer after um, graduating college, which actually I do a little bit of it now, like styling and things like that. So um, for other people, and just mainly like people I know, mainly just my family,
Mm-hmm.
and someone comes and asks me like for help or something like that. And but yeah, so that's kind of where I am right now.
Okay. So with that, like how does you doing this internship right now with your program, how does that incorporate into you pursuing that specific goal for you?
So with my internship, like it was supposed to help me like
Mm-hmm.
learn more about networking and with people in the fashion industry here locally, so I could maybe work with them, or
Mm-hmm.
work underneath them. Um, just learning how to actually put on like a fashion show production, learning how to style for different body types. So all of those things were going to be able to help me know more about the business and know more about what a customer wants and doesn't want. And so with my internship now, I just feel like I haven't actually been learning that stuff. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I have had retail experience before, so which is a good thing, because
Yeah.
now I'm just learning only about event planning, and that's event planning for like this polo event that we have going on like this Sunday. Like I helped
Okay.
with that, and then just post, of course, like the breast cancer awareness. Like that was a good thing, a good deed, or whatever. But I haven't been learning anything about fashion.
Yeah.
The only thing that I probably have done is like did like visuals for Goodwill, and that's probably like I did that like all of 3 times this whole entire summer. So yeah, it was a bit of a disappointment, but I
Yeah.
mean, what can you do? So um, some people are meant to teach, and some people aren't, you know.
Oh,
So that's my
completely.
with that.
Trust me. I'm fully aware of that,
Yeah, like
especially with what I'm doing at work right now. Like you try to teach an individual how to do their job, and they decide, I don't want to do that. I'm like, okay, cool.
right.
Don't be mad when I fail you for everything.
Exactly.
Just saying. Um, okay, cool. So, okay, like I'm sorry your internship hasn't been turning out how you expected it to be and everything,
It's okay.
but
Glad it's about to be over with.
but overall, like this is just gonna be like the last. This is gonna be the last question. Like I've I know it said like 20 questions, but I feel like we've been talking for like about 2 hours now.
Yeah,
So I feel like there's quite a bit of work in here.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but so how like overall with it, with everything that's going on with like your family, with your time in the army, with your time at UH and everything, like you being in school, how is this all contributing? Like what what's really been like the game changer between you leaving the Army and starting school? Like, I know you had initially joined the Army for educational benefits.
Yeah.
Like, what from before you started in the Army, how significant is that change, and like what specifically has changed with, like, because I guarantee you weren't the same person you were going into it.
Definitely.
It's just what happens. Like, you get indoctrinated into this whole community of people, and you think a different way, you speak a different way, you act a certain different way, and like, everything changes.
Exactly.
So how have things changed from beginning to end, and like, how have you utilized these changes to benefit yourself in your current situation?
So, so I guess like just joining the military prior to that, like I I was disciplined because my mom was strict or whatever, but I wasn't as disciplined. Like of course, I always wanted to hang out with my friends. Like I wanted to go here, I wanted to do that, and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. And also, like I still like had like I was very mature. I had always hung out with older people because I was always mature for my age, and I just gravitated towards them and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. But I just still felt like I had a lot of maturing to do.
Mm-hmm.
So joining the military actually gave me those skills, that
Yeah.
discipline and maturing, and actually having to be an adult,
Yeah.
like being like not in the house anymore and actually having to work for your own money.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that changed the dynamic of things for me. And also, just more so towards the end, just like coming here, I had like, I was kind of like rebellious because I really was not ready, to come here
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. But after a while, I was just like, well, I'm here. I'm going to make the best of it. And I just need to practice the skills that I've learned throughout
Yeah.
the lessons that I've learned in the military, just being in the Army and things like that. And some things that I want to change, some things that I should keep
Mm-hmm.
in. And so coming here, it uh, got better for me. Just being like even more disciplined, I guess you could say, and
Mm-hmm.
just wanting to and actually having to work even harder because I feel like in the Army, like I worked hard for my job. Like I worked
Mm-hmm.
hard in the Army with my job, but it was just my job. So when you leave it's like when you leave the military, what do you have?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so that's kind of how things changed for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that fire just kind of got lit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Um, I'm right there with you. Trust me. Like, living in Hawaii, working at a hotel, making a good amount of money. It's like, why am I even in college right now?
Yeah.
Trust me. You do things, and you see the actual perspective of, oh, this is what it's like to be an adult. Shit, I gotta pay for water bills, man.
Like
I understand, man.
yeah, it's horrible.
Cool. Okay. So, I mean, you got anything else you want to ask or talk about? Like,
um, oh my god, I think we did it all. We did it. We did it. We did it all. So
yeah, no, trust me.
yeah.
Like, it went from like being sunny as shit over there to
So just
darkness.
start. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah. And I think after this, like, don't forget we have to do a self evaluation. video.
Which one?
Self-evaluation video. So it's just basically you by yourself. So you do like another YouTube like setup. Like how we did this one, and then you evaluate yourself, like some things that some challenges that you found, like maybe some good things that came out of the interview for you that you did, and then maybe some things that you could have worked on.
You could fix and work on and whatnot.
So just like a simple video, like
that. So is that due with this video, or is that due?
It'll be due, but it's like your own video though.
Okay.
So you'll just have to like do like another step. But he said you don't have to record your face anymore. You can just like block out your face.
Yeah.
So of course it'll probably be like only like 5 minutes. It's not like like how this one is. So this is a self-evaluation.
I'm gonna interview myself.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna get kicked to the Air Force because I think I'm schizophrenic. Yo, this dude's talking to himself. What? What are you talking about? I heard you interviewing yourself, you shit. Yeah, you're probably right.
Sounds about right.
Oh, yeah. My boy, that's fine. Give me that DD-214, dog, and you can dish.
DD-214 feels so great when you get it, I promise.
Mm-hmm. Did you know that you get 100% for being schizophrenic?
No way.
I was like, bro, you mean Fred? Yeah, Fred's like right here, man. Like, oh, I could do that.
Oh my God.
100% now? I'll take 100%. We were just talking about that today because one of my buddies, he's had a collapsed lung twice now. And they will not medically discharge him.
No way.
They're like, oh yeah, you need to get it 3 times. I'm like, how does that make sense? I was like, so you want him to die? You're gonna discharge him once he dies. Got it. That's cool. Like, Jesus, God.
That sounds about right though.
No, and I was like, so yeah, so he's had his lung collapse twice on him. He's had back problems. He's had knee problems. He's had every single thing under the sun. Like, dude looks like a damn giraffe. Like, there's a reason why his knees are jacked up because boy's like 6'5", 190 pounds. I'm like, what the hell, dude?
Yeah.
I get it. Like, I get why you're so broken. You're abnormally tall. That's fine. But I'm like, 2 collapsed lungs, and they're like, we'll keep you.
No.
You can't breathe.
Because he can be like doing PT one day and just faint and never.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So they'd rather keep him on a profile for whenever the hell they feel like it.
Like on profile for like after a certain amount of time, they will never breathe. At least that's how they do it in the army. Like if you stay on like profile for a certain amount of time, they'll never breathe. So
that's the joy of being in the Air Force is that we don't do that.
You're gonna put your time in. You're not leaving.
Oh yeah, basically, they're like, hey, we can still use you. You can't run. It's cool. As long as you're not like super obese, we're good. Can you still fit in your uniform? Cool. What? Makes no sense. Some of these motherfuckers can't even fit in the damn uniform.
That is crazy.
Nah, dude, it's this whole system right now. Like, what the fuck? But yes. Anyways.
Yeah. Well, cool. This was a good interview.
Oh
yeah. Yeah.
Sure. No, this is. I'm good.
After you do. After it's finished loading, I think it'll probably take like 30 minutes just for the video to like. Yeah,
I've learned my lesson with that. Mm-hmm. Because it almost happened with like the last one I did with like interview with like 2. Yeah, it uploaded about 30 minutes of it, and I was like, oh shit. And then I waited a bit more, and then it uploaded the entire thing, and I was like, yes. So basically I just got to upload it and leave it alone.
Yeah.
So Cool. I'll shoot you the link and everything.
Okay.
So you can have it for you to post and whatnot.
Gotcha.
Cool.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you again for being patient and.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for being patient.
I understand that we all have lives. You have shit going on in your life.
No problem.
Definitely. Like,
no problem.
There's a reason why we're taking online classes.
There is definitely a reason why. Oh my god.
But oh yeah, trust me. There's
yeah.
too much. There's too much to talk about right now. But yeah, cool. Alrighty. Well, yeah, I'll shoot you that link and everything, and I'll let you know all of it because, like you said, it should take about 15, 20 minutes to load.
Yeah, it's gonna take a good 30 minutes probably.
Yeah, it'll take a bit. So I'll let you know when it's like fully uploaded and whatnot. And
all right.
Cool.
That sounds good, and talk to you later on.
Alrighty. Take it easy.
All right, you too. Get some rest.
Yeah, right. I got other shit to do right now. I was like, oh god. Yeah. I have like a response post to do. So in that time, I fell asleep while I was reading the chapter I was supposed to be writing a discussion post on, and I was like,
I know. I have to do that too. I'm about to take a break right now. Really.
Hell yeah.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you.
Yeah, I'll talk to you later.
All right, bye.